Hi, welcome to another mobile programming online tutorial. So this video is for STIW2044 mobile programming, and today I would like to talk about Firebase database and also Firebase storage. So I'm going to demo a simple application using Firebase. So as you can see here, so this is a simple Firebase example project where it utilizes Firebase database as its database, and also Firebase storage to store image to the Firebase storage. So there are 4 database basic operation: add, delete, update, and search. So I'm going to demonstrate how the application works first, and later we're going to look at the code and see how the implementation is for the application. Okay, so this is a simple data for student information. So we have 3 information that we like to store into Firebase. So we have name, metric, and course. So if we add information, for example, name Johan 3, metric number, let's say 7766, and course BIT. I'm using image view and also camera to capture image. So take image, take picture. Okay, so I'm going to use this image and store into database. So if I press add, so what it does here, it's going to upload to Firebase database Johan Asri, and also together with the image to the Firebase storage. And I can click on the list view here and to get information. For example, for Kamil Adli here, so you can see the image changes, and this image comes from Firebase using Picasso to download the image from Firebase. Alright, so Johan Asri, you can see this is the image that comes from the Android emulator, the AVD camera simulation. Here you can also update and also delete. So if you like to delete, for example, result, so you can long click on result and you can just delete. Alright, so the database is here. You can see the information. There's a 3 data in my Firebase database. So you can see there's 3 data here: 1117, 2211, 7766. Alright, and the storage, Firebase storage here, store images. So there are 3 images here. So I store the image name based on the metric number, this unique number. So 3. Okay, so the database also the ID for each data based on the metric number. So the assumption here is that the ID is a unique number. So the data within the Firebase database stored as follows. Alright, so let's see the codes. Okay, now is the codes here. The project is based on the following interface. We start with the layout. So this is the layout. So quite simple. quite simple layout. As you can see up here, this is the input, name, metric and course, and also image. This is the button operation, add, update, new and search, and this is a list view to display custom list. So the custom list here, this is where all the custom component for the input. Okay, you can see here there's a 3 data, so store in the following manner: metric number, name, and also the course. Alright, so that for custom list. And prompt layout, this is for the search operation. So if you like to search for data, for example here you want to search, this is basically the prompt layout, the custom layout for searching information. Okay, so those are the layout. Very, very simple. So I use linear layout. This is basically, I'm familiar with linear layout, so I use linear layout for my interface. We look at the main activity here. So the main activity here, so we refer based on the Firebase storage, and also for the database reference object as DR. So to connect to Firebase, you make sure that you need to connect to your account from your Android Studio. So you need to log in from here. There's a small button here. Make sure that you're logged into your Gmail account, to your Google account. Alright, so to make connection, all you need to do is that you need to choose from tools here and Firebase, and this is the assistant that you can use. So if you like to use the real-time database, you choose real-time database and press save and retrieve. And of course, for my example here, it's already been connected, and dependency is set up correctly. Okay, so you need to follow the configuration, you need to follow the instruction provided in this save and retrieve process. Okay, you need to make sure that both Connect and real-time database library is being added to your Gradle. So if you are importing this project, so you need to make sure that you need to connect, you need to set this up properly, because the one that you downloaded, this project that you downloaded, is based on my project. Okay, so you need to connect to your own database, to your own account, before you can use this example. Alright, so for that you need to go to Firebase. Okay, you need to create Firebase project, and then you need to create, okay, for first, because I already have my own Firebase project based on this com.slumberger.firebase example project. This is my application package name, as you can see from here. Okay, this is my package name, and you need to create project for this. If not, if you don't have it, you need to press add another app. Okay, add Firebase and add your package name here. Alright, so once you've done that, you can just go to the storage, to database, and you need to make sure that the rules of your database is something like this: read, write, true, means that you allow for any user to access the database based on the rules. If you like to have specific or a registered user only to access, so you need to set up rules to allow only specific user to use this database. Alright, so coming back to the database operation, So the structure of the database is based on the JSON data format. So as you can see here, the database name is the following. This is generated by Firebase. This is the table name, student, and this is the information contained. This is the unique ID that I use to store data. Okay, so those are the information that I store into each of the entry. So course name and metric. So there are 3 data here. Alright, so those are the information. So coming back to Android programming, so here instead of onCreate method, there are definition for the object defined, ed1, ed2 and ed3, name, metric and course. This is edit text, and one image view. So for image view, the implementation of the image view is based on the camera. So the camera intent. So I need to intend for the camera to get the camera to capture image and store into image view. The storage. So to access storage for Firebase, also you need to go back to the Firebase and enable the storage. Okay, so you need to enable connect to Firebase. Should be okay if you manage to connect, and then you need to add the following: dependency set up correctly. Okay, so, and then define the reference, and then later I'm going to show how to download and upload file to the Firebase. Okay, so you need to define the reference for storage and storage reference, that for the Firebase storage. So for database, they are Firebase database, get instance, get reference, student. Student is basically the root for the database. This is the root, student. So to later I'm going to show all those 4 basic operation of the for database: add, delete, update and search. Student, this is for the array. So the on-click listener, that for later, and this is for on-click listener to delete data, and this is for to take picture. So when I click on image view, we can intend take picture, and then we can store image into our application. Alright, so based on the image in take picture intent, so on activity result, so this is where if we would like to implement camera, so the result will be stored into on activity result, and then set the image view based on the camera information. On start, this is where we want to store, we want to show data in our custom list view. Okay, so to store all the data in the student database, so we just get reference to student, and the listener will listen to data in the database and tabulate list view student with the student adapter based on the student class. Right, so this is where the real-time database get its name. Whatever changes that we introduce to the real-time database will also reflect on the data in the application. Okay, this what keep the database alive, keep the connection alive in the on-start override method. Alright, so let's start with the add user. This is add user method. It is very simple method. This is just a view method. Okay, you can just call this from a button on click. So we get the information, we get the data, 3 data here, name, metric and course, and then we start to make reference. So the reference you want to add is to the student database, and then the if statement here just to check if the data is empty or not. So we want to make sure that user entered the information, And this part, okay, this is quite tricky part, because there's no SQL statement to check if the data or the metric number is already been in the database or not, because we don't want to add the same data twice. Okay, so the implementation of this query, okay, this is a query, final query for the real-time database, dr order by child metric, okay, equals to metric. So I need to search for the metric number first in the database. If the metric number is in the database, the listener for the query will detect that the metric number is in the database, and it detect as a duplicate, and then I need to remove the listener. Okay, this is very important. If not, you're going to get problem with the listener, and then return. Okay, means that quit this void method and do not implement or do not execute the following operation. Alright, so continuing from there, so if there's no data in database, means that there's no duplicate data. Continue with the remove of the query, because you want the query to keep on listening to data changes. Okay, we stop the query, remove the event listener, and then get the reference, because we want to not at the root level, we want to add to the child and get the metric as the ID for the data. And then we make the object out of student, and then insert the data into the object using the constructor. So this is constructor, and to add data we just set dr set value student. Okay, means that this is the ID. Okay, this is the first part, this is here. Okay, this instruction basically instruct us to create this ID, and then here we just create object student, and then when we give the instruction dr, means that this dr will set value student, and then it will set or add data to this table, the new entry based on the metric number or the ID. Okay, so done. This basically allow us to add data into database. This method, save image, upload image, clear field, okay, these three methods allow us to use or to store the image first into local storage. Okay, we cannot just directly upload image from image view to the database, to the Firebase storage. We need to save the image first locally. So let's see the save image first. So this is just a standard save image method. Okay, we need to convert. We need to get from image view, store into drawable object, get the bitmap, store into the application directory, basic, call basic, or whatever directory you like to call it, and then store the file temporarily and get the path of the file. Okay, so once we are able to save the image location down here is basically to return the image location back. Alright, so coming back to the add user, okay, save image, and then upload image. Okay, this is the upload image method. So we upload image based on the metric number. So the image name later is going to store based on the ID, the metric number. Alright, so here to store the image based on the storage reference that we refers, storage reference dot child. So the folder inside the database called images slash metric. So this is the file name. So from the storage here, as you can see, there's new folder called images. So inside this folder there are list of images, the PNG file that reflect using the metric number as its unique ID. Right, so this reflect those operation. Okay, so once we get the URI from file, from image location, we get the local image location of the image, and then we upload using the store reference put file. So this is the operation that allow us to upload to the Firebase storage, and this is the listener. right? So very simple operation. So those for add data. Okay, you can see the add operation here. So if I would like to add the same data twice, this is the same data, try to add it again, it will be detect as a duplicate data because the data is already in database based on the following instruction here, duplicate. Okay, so on data change means that it found that the metric number or the ID is already there. So I quit the program, quit the listener, and then return the method, and nothing get executed. Okay, it stopped there. Next, delete user. Alright, so delete user also allow us to delete based on the operation. So if you like to delete here, the logic of the operation is to delete the data in the real-time database, and the second thing is that to delete the image from the database. Okay, we need to be able to delete the image also. So the delete operation is quite simple. It based on the object student and get the position based on the on long click. So whenever we on long click on the method, so on long click implemented here in the here, right? List view set on long click listener, delete user. Okay, and based on the position given, so the delete operation, the delete operation update will delete based on the object student position, and the instruction is also quite simple. Get the metric or get the ID that you like to delete based on the metric number, and just they are remove value, and I need to delete image on the server also, so use the delete image method. So this is the delete image method. So the operation is also quite simple. Storage reference where the location of the image and the image name, and then just give it instruction storage reference.delete, and based on the listener, if you like to implement whatever instruction is here, go ahead, and then I need to reset. Once the operation successfully deleted the image, you need to reset back the storage reference back to its root. Okay, you don't leave it in this location. Okay, if you leave it in this location, you're going to get problem later whenever the program progress. You need to go back to its root before you do anything after this. Okay, those are the delete operation. Okay, so let me show. If I delete this, let's say I'm going to delete 2211. So on long click, okay, you can see here 2211. Yes. Okay, refresh. Okay, 2211 gone from the Firebase storage, and also from the database 2211 also no longer in the listing. Okay, done. There's only two data here. Okay, there's only two data. Alright, for the update operation, let's I want to start at user, delete user, done. Okay, update also the same. Okay, so we have name, metric, and course. So it based on metric. Okay, we cannot update metric. Student update, and then just set value again. Okay, and then we need to save image, delete image first, save image to the local storage, delete image first on the database, on the database Firebase first. So delete first and then upload again. Okay, because you want to upload with a new image, and then data updated and reset back the storage reference to its root. Okay, because we just access student and metric. We just access to the images folder. So we need to make sure that the storage reference reset. For the search, okay, search operation also based on the following prompt metric. So this is basically there's a prompt, and then use a prompt layout to pop up the screen, and then it based on search data. Okay, so this search data method based on the query. Okay, so Firebase get instant student and order by child metric equal metric. This is entered by user. So if query found the data, it basically implemented add value listener and get metric, get name, get course, and then get the storage reference back. So this is also based on the that's why we need to reset storage reference back to its root, because later we're going to call this storage reference back to load the image using Picasso. Okay, you can say this is a Picasso library. So you need to add this Picasso library to your Gradle. Don't forget to do that. Okay, Gradle Picasso. Okay, so if you like to resize the image, so you can do it into image view. Okay, and then those found, if not found. Okay, so this basically allow you to have the following. Okay, so for example, if you like to search for data 7766, press OK. You can see found, and the data is being displayed here. So you have to search for 1117, press OK, and found, and the image Picasso will load the image URL from the Firebase database here. Okay, so those are the basic operation for the search. Okay, so it seems quite complicated, but once you get the logic right, so you need to reset back the storage reference to where it's to this child location, and then storage reference to child, and then the location in the server in the Firebase storage, and then the file name. This is the file name, and get the download URL. And because the Picasso load based on the URI, okay, so the URI here will allow us to load directly from Firebase storage, okay, and then put into image view. So those are the operation for the add, delete, update, and also search. A few things worth to mention. You need to allow for the internet hardware, and also write external storage, because we store the image locally first before we upload to the server, and then read external storage. So those are the permission needed. And also Gradle, so you need to make sure that your Firebase authentication and storage, and also Picasso, properly connected. And also your rules. Okay, for database rules here, you need to enable read write true, and also for the Firebase storage, you need to enable the rules to the to allow for the read write to all path. So those are basically the logic that behind this application. What else? You need to make sure that your assistant well connected, your dependency set up correctly for the storage, and also for the real-time database. You need to make sure that this turn green. Okay, so just to demonstrate the concept of real time in the application. So let's see if I change something here. If I change Johan Asri here, okay, you can see this is Johan Asri. So if I change the name, Johan Burhan, so you can see that Johan Burhan automatically changes on the application. This is because the one that I mentioned before, the on start here, the listener for the data change. Okay, the database reference to the student database, and it will automatically update the list view adapter to the latest data. Okay, it maintain the connection, maintain the data snapshot with the database. Okay, here this is the on-click listener. On-click listener means that when you click on this list view, it basically display the data up here and download the image from the database storage. Okay, this is the way that we download from the database. Alright, so I believe that cover everything on the database, on the Firebase database, basic database operation. I do not claim that this is the perfect example. This is just some of my experience using Firebase. I'm still learning how to manage the Firebase connection, and a lot of in terms of the permission I didn't cover on that, because you need to allow when you log in to the Firebase, you need to incorporate the Firebase authentication, and then you need to allow specific user only to be allowed to add data into the Firebase. So those for the aided security. For this example, I didn't cover on that, so you might need to look into how to implement. So I'm still learning. So this is basically my take on the Firebase. And of course, this is not the ultimate reference. You can use this as your reference, how it works, but you need to make sure that your logic works correctly. Alright, so that is all. So thank you.